Hi everyone, so this is day 2 of vlogmas, which is pretty new for me, somewhat. I mean, I did do a vlog thing a couple years ago, like in May, but so because I've joined AuthorTube just recently, I want to try to make most of these vlogs here revolve around writing, or at least books. Other stuff might come into the vlogs and everything, but I want at least a bookish writing topic to be included in there. And this one is kind of a rant complaint kind of thing. Now, as writers, at least for probably a good portion of us, our dream is to get our work out there. Like I said, at least most of us. Some people may just write for a hobby, for something personal, and they don't want to publish or whatever. And that's fine, that's them. That doesn't make them any less of a writer at all. But the thing is, obviously, some of us do want readers. Me personally, I'm somewhat of an introverted person. I would say probably I have some social anxiety, or probably a lot. And, sometimes sharing my work with people can be a little bit scary. It's a little more comfortable on the internet because that's something I can just close my laptop and everything. I can delete comments that are mean, nasty, whatever. But in real life, it's a little bit different. You're face to face. You can't really escape that negativity. Now, I'm not saying that every time you read a book, a poem, a short story, an essay, a play, when you go to see one, if you read a script, whatever, that you have to like it and everything, and you have to praise it and everything in order to not hurt anybody's feelings. But there is constructive criticism. There's also knowing what the hell you're talking about. And sometimes reviews aren't always just opinions. Sometimes the way people display them kind of comes off that they think it's fact. And not everyone does this and everything. Sometimes people will point out mistakes because they generally have a concern about it and everything, and they want to help you out and everything. But then there are people that get a little snotty about it, and I guess they kind of think they're above you because you're supposed to be writing this, and then they found a mistake in there and everything, and you don't use proper this or that. You really got to look at the context of things before you're a dickhead to people. Okay? There's a difference between being a critic and having constructive criticism and being a dick. I know they kind of sound the same. Maybe that's just a poet in me that, you could probably rhyme dick and critic, I mean, they kind of have a similar sound towards the end, but they're different. Okay? The thing is, if you think something's a mistake or whatever, and you point it out, you say, hey, isn't it supposed to be this or whatever, or why did you write this like this? Did it have a significant meaning, or hey, I think you might have misspelled this or whatever. Like I said, you can correct people in a respectful way. I was writing something once. I don't even remember what it was. But I know it was a short story I was working on that was more geared towards young adults. And in the story, these two kids were having a conversation with each other, and instead of the word yes, I used the word yeah. And of course I was corrected on that it's not proper grammar, this and that. But here's the thing, in reality, most teenage kids are not worried about proper English, proper grammar, etc. when they're talking amongst their friends. Okay? There's a time and a place for proper grammar. In reality, you probably don't talk to your friends the same way you talk to your boss. And really, eventually, after you start working at a place for a while, you stop like totally being proper and everything, and even at work, you know. But yeah, this isn't like the 1600s or whatever, where everyone is lady this and madame that, and you know, it's like there's different patterns of speech and everything. And you know, just the way they said it, it wasn't like they were it wasn't like they were taking the mindset of school where you learn how to properly talk and everything else, and they just went on about how it wasn't like proper English, this and that, and without thinking that, well, I'm telling a story about two teenage kids, and most likely, again, like I said, they're not going to talk like that. Even fiction has to have some kind of reality into it, or else it gets too ridiculous. I was writing a poem, and I was told that it didn't flow and this and that. But, okay, I don't claim to be the best poet, and maybe some people think poetry should flow all the time, I guess, and some people think it should rhyme. Those people, however, were probably asleep in like English class and whatever kind of language arts class and stuff people take. I guess depending on where you're from and this and that. But when they were talking about poetry, obviously some people were probably asleep, because when they say that, I'm thinking, you never heard of a haiku, have you? Haikus are literally based on syllables. They do not rhyme. They are kind of choppy, really. Depending on how you say it, I guess you can make it flow like really nice if you're like a really good speaker and stuff. Obviously, I'm not. I like just keep. Bleh. But you get what I mean? It's like some people just criticize without knowing facts. They forget there are different ways of speaking. And yes, at some point, like I said, you have to use certain ways of speaking. And other ways, it don't matter. Poetry does not always rhyme. Okay? It's not always going to flow perfectly. Sometimes, you know, I write poetry because I have something to say. Sometimes deep stuff does not flow. Sometimes my deep stuff flows really well. Okay? Sometimes my fun ones don't flow. Sometimes they do. It really doesn't matter. What matters is that it is something that I enjoyed, it's something that I am proud of, and everything, and something that I have used to express a feeling that I have. You don't have to like it, but again, don't be a dick. Ask me why it doesn't flow. Ask me why I don't care that it doesn't flow. Maybe I'm more concerned about its content, its meaning. If you have a suggestion about maybe a word that would rhyme with this or that, but still keep its meaning, or say, have you heard of this word? And if I don't know it, tell me what it means. Constructive criticism. Don't point out something that you think is wrong just to kind of one-up someone. Also, don't degrade or down or whatever you want to call it people of a certain age group and that you shouldn't read this or write that or whatever. I can see certain things, like, I personally haven't read them, but given the synopsis, I wouldn't give a 14-year-old 50 Shades of Grey. But don't try to push for books that make young people, or that portray young people as stupid. And also, don't diss older people like me, I just turned 29, for reading young adult. The stories can be told in many different ways. You know, if a person wants to write historical fiction, fan-fucking-tabulous. They want to write poetry, awesome. They want to write a young adult werewolf dystopia. Hey, if that's their thing, they have a message to get out there, they want to have fun, they want to teach the world something, and that's their way of doing it. May not be your thing, and you can dislike it. But you don't have to be a book dick about it, okay? Sorry, this is just a little rant, because I'm just kind of looking back and kind of pulling from some of the old stuff that I was writing and kind of looking over it, this and that, and, you know, it's just, like I said, if you're going to be a critic and everything, do it in a respectful way. You don't have to like everything, but you don't have to down people for it either. Now, if people are being straight up stupid and everything, I can see people getting into fights and this and that, but it's probably better for you just to walk away and not be on their level. I used to get very, very angry at people. Not for disagreeing with me, but, just for being plain out ignorant and everything, and all they had was one-sided views and everything. Not just about books or anything, but anything. And that, they were right and this and that, and, everyone else was stupid, and it's just like, occasionally I catch myself arguing with people and stuff like that, but I try not to because it's just so exhausting. And for all you writers out there and everything, do your thing, you do you. If you want to write children's books, go for it. If you want to write screenplays, good for you. Whatever you can do to get your world, your soul onto that paper, to share it with the world, if you choose to, of course, do it. Don't conform to any fucking thing. Alright? So, yeah, that is just my little rant, is that authors should be able to use whatever type of writing vehicle to get their little story on the road, and that people should respect their choices. Just respect people in general. Yeah. Anyways, I will see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.